So Jaya Varman came out with a new forum post today that starts alpha testing for skyblock dungeons. I think that dungeons will probably come out at around Friday this week, Monday next week maybe, since they are doing testing from YouTubers today, and then the videos of YouTubers will be allowed to be released tomorrow at 6 p.m. EST, Eastern Standard Time. Wednesday, MVP++ will also be allowed in, so that means a good portion of the general public will be able to go ahead and try dungeons. So he goes through a lot of stuff in this forum post, and so he starts off about how to actually get into the alpha testing. So this is a pretty quick video about how to actually get in, and then how it will be set up. So basically, if you are alpha testing, you can go to the NPC to the right and just get all the stuff for free. And you can go to Mort and you can use 2 of the first layers of Catacombs. So then he goes to describe that the first difficulty doesn't have a boss, but once beaten the final boss of the Catacombs entrance, you'll be warped to the dungeon hub, and then you'll be able to go and try the first floor again. He also talks about a lot of secrets and mechanics about dungeons. He goes on to explain about different rooms here, and how they're randomly generated. So basically there's wither doors, which is doors opened with keys from mini bosses that you kill, and then there's a blood door at the very end, which is basically the boss door. So in this video he actually goes into one of the dungeons and shows how it works. So he has an ability that he can use with the dungeon orb that he has in his 4th slot. There's actually a lot of spiders here, but they're not attacking him. I'm assuming he has an intimidation talisman. Actually wait, he might just be in creative mode. He goes about and explains. Okay, so if I go back here, you can tell that the main path, based on his map, is to the left. If you look at the map, he's spawning in here, and he has to go into the main room and then take a left to go on the main trail. But you can actually go into different rooms, which are kind of like mini side quests. So if you drop down here, or if you go straight forward or to the right, you'll actually find like mini quests. And he explains that if you go into these spots, you can actually find like mini chest rooms. And in those rooms you can find power orbs. He can actually get a power orb, and then bats are also a form of a drop. So if I can pause it right here, training wheels is the item that he got from the bat. And you can see the description here. You basically throw it out of your inventory and then it will give you strength, depending on how much time you've held it. So here he goes and kills one of the mini bosses, called the Angry Archaeologist. Okay, there we go. And it dropped a wither key. And it says in the chat that the wither key door, go to a withered, it explains in the chat that right click on a wither door in order to open it, and the key can only be used to open one door. You will see that there are fairy heads right here. If you kill one, it will let you revive a teammate. Or if all your teammates are currently revived, it will actually give you a drop. He will get a revive stone so that when one of the teammates dies, he can revive them. He goes, and this is the blood door, the boss door, and the map actually progresses more as you go along, so it will load more rooms. And so basically, he just goes in here, and he explains about the dungeon orb. So if I look at this, it has item ability Thunderstorm, and a item ability Guided Sheep. One of the abilities is used less often, but is more powerful. And this it has a cooldown of longer, and you can only use it every so often. And the other ability you can use more often. So I believe that you get this whenever you enter a dungeon. You can use its ability by pressing the drop key, which is automatically the Q key, and instead of dropping the item, it will actually use its ultimate. He also goes ahead and explains that you can go ahead on the main path and still finish the dungeon. He then confirms that there are 5 classes called Berserker, Mage, Healer, Tank, and Archer. Each class grants different abilities, and if you're using one class, then that class will become a lot stronger. So then he posts this video, and this is actually really interesting. So if I skip ahead here and look, he actually has 2 of the same pants. He has Smart Heavy Leggings, Rare, and an Epic. So basically, it looks like these will automatically get a random reforge, and then they'll also be maxed out with Growth, Prot, and Thorns. So you can get different rarities of the same item, and the higher level of dungeon that you're in, the more likely you are to get a better rarity. Gear score adds up all the stats of the armor piece and puts them into one number so that anyone can see how good their armor piece is right when they get it. Also, if you notice, it actually says perfect 5,000 out of 5,000. I believe this is actually durability, because later in the forum post he talks about how dungeon items have durability, which is a new thing that we haven't seen yet. There is a more in-depth explanation if you click the spoiler. I'm just going to go ahead and watch this one. If you look, you actually have Catacomb Rewards, and it kind of goes like a skill. So the more you explore, the higher rewards you can get. So you're more likely to get better rewards based on the higher chance that you have. And if I skip ahead here, he actually explains about essence. So I believe you can actually get essence just by playing the game. So dragon essence, I would assume, is by killing the dragon. So you can use essence to actually upgrade the armor pieces to make them better. So if I skip ahead here, he puts these leggings in and it actually upgrades the stars on the right here. This is actually what the dungeon blacksmith does. So also, if I pause right here, it looks like the highest floor is actually 10, and he also recommended having a party size of 5. I can actually pause it at different times to see what the bosses are. It also requires combat level 5, so I don't think you can enter any dungeons without combat level 5. If I also pause at floor level 9, it says Boss's Storm. Graced with tremendous abilities earned from the long-forgotten title of Elementalist after the destruction of an entire island. Pausing on the first one, you can see that the mini-boss is the Watcher. He actually mouses over pretty much all of them. Floor 2's boss is Scarf. The next boss is Oak, and it says Professor, so I think this is a hint at Pokemon. After that is Thorn. 6 is Satan. 7 is Maxor. So it looks like Dungeons actually added a little bit more lore, and it seems like Withers are going to be really powerful, so we'll see. Looking back after editing this, I'm so happy that I got my Wither artifact before the prices rise. In this video, he actually briefly moused over and it says Master Mode, and I can't really read this very well. He also put a little bit about ghosts, and it says players don't really die in dungeons. They become ghosts. Ghosts can be revived in multiple ways. And then he talks about reviving ghosts, so that's when a player dies. So the dungeon run ends when all players are ghosts. So this is really interesting. I really like how he gave a lot of insight into dungeons to any players that actually can't play the alpha, but I'm sure that we'll get even more information tomorrow when all the YouTubers are able to release their videos.